Parmeshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. One-way street where I'm just talking. My eyes are watering today. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. What is the question for today? It's from somebody called, let me see, NLNLFM19. That is the username, I suppose. So he's asked or she's asked a question. I don't know whether it is a he or a she. My glasses. Okay. I don't know. So the question is, Jai Ma, Pranam Swamiji. This is not exactly a sensible question. I wanted to share that since many years I have been a tea lover and would drink with glee as well as guilt at the overindulgence many cups of tea daily. After every activity need for tea. Good mood, good weather, I would make tea. Bad day, bad experience would call for another cup. But at least since 2020, I have been mentally appealing to Ma to release me from this temptation and vice. I find that suddenly since March this year, I don't feel like drinking tea. No inclination to look at the jar of tea leaves. It must be Ma who has freed me from this addiction to tea and biscuits. Absolutely right. Ma can do wonders, you know. Ma ke paas Leela ki, she's aparampar with Leelas, you know. So you're absolutely right. And you're very lucky. I should say that, you know. Isme, I remember one incident which I have talked about several times, but I will repeat. There was a Ma devotee, like a hardcore Ma devotee. His name was Hiru Lalwani, a very dear friend. He's no more. He was a complete alcoholic and constantly drinking and smoking. This was his, from morning to evening, this was his thing, that he was vice, if you call it, you know. So what happened is, he was absolutely dedicated to Ma. He was dedicated to Swami Bhaskaranandji, all that, you know. And he lived in Bombay. So we had, you know, those days we had Bombay satsangs in Bombay at Juhu, where it was, you know, a bungalow where Ma used to come and reside. There was a kutia made for Ma, you know, Parna kutir, jo bolte hain. So she would come and stay there. So that was the place of satsang for everybody. And it was a huge hall and all that. So now Hiru was instructed to do Bombay satsangs by Ma, by Swami Bhaskaranandji, all that, you know. Now since Ma has said all this, obviously he could not say no. And he was very keen on doing it. But because of the vice that he had of drinking and smoking and all that, he would be shaking. You know, his hands would be shaking like this all the time. So one day he got very frustrated because he was very keen on doing the satsang. And later he did fantastic satsangs. You know, he organized things very well. So one day what happened, he was in the Parna Kutir, Juhu Parna Kutir, where Ma used to live. I'm sorry, but my eye is watering. Hold on. Yeah. You know, Juhu mein where I said my Ville Parle, not Juhu. Ville Parle, Parna Kutir, he was pacing up and down in Ma's room, you know, where Ma used to stay. And beautiful photographs of Ma in that room and whatever. And Ma's cot was there. And, you know, generally people would go there for darshan and, you know, do pranam in that room and sit and meditate, and all that was going on. So he was in this room pacing up and down from one end to the other and mumbling and talking to Ma. And he said, see, aapne mere ko bola hai ki satsang karo, satsang karo. How do I do satsang when I'm drinking all the time from morning? My first thing in the morning that I get up, I have a drink. And I'm shaking all the time. So my hands are not steady, I'm not steady, my mind is not steady. And you expect me to do satsang, how do I do it? I just can't handle it. And I cannot give up my drinks. So what do I do? So he says, okay, let's do one thing. He used to talk like this. you make sure I quit everything. I quit my drinking and my smoking and whatever. Then, I'll be fine and I'll be able to do the satsang. Now show me whether you can do that for me. He went on mumbling this way and he went away. Next morning, believe it or not, he got up. He didn't feel like drinking at all. He didn't want to touch that bottle. Just what you are saying, that I stopped, the tea has gone. So next day when he didn't want to drink and he saw the bottle and his glass and all that, and he said, no, I don't want. Otherwise, do you know what he used to do? It's amazing what he could do. He would take Ma's picture. He would always carry Ma's picture with him and go to the pub. Put Ma's picture over there in the bar and have a drink. Keep looking at Ma's picture and keep drinking. That's how he was. Nobody would do something like this, but he would. So next day when he realized that, okay, his drinking is gone, he couldn't believe it. He went back to the Parnakutir. And he said, Ma, how did this happen? Is it that you really did this or this is just fluke? Is it a coincidence? Is it something real? Because I can't believe it. So, okay, let's do one more thing. If you have really done this, quit my smoking also. Then I will know that it was for real. Next weekend, his smoking was gone. And he comes back into the Parnakutir and he says, oh my God, Ma, you did it. And I was always doubting that, this was fluke or this was this or this was that. But it's really not. It's you who's done the magic for me. And after that, he started the satsangs in Bombay. He was the organizer. And then, people would come there and, people would do kirtan and sing and, things like that. It was a beautiful atmosphere. And that was Hiru Lalwani. Totally, I used to call him a crackpot. That's the way it was. So yeah, what you're saying, that is it Ma's thing. What was that last line you said? It must be Ma who has freed me from this addiction to tea and biscuits. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Nobody else can do this, because if you are addicted to something, it's very difficult to get rid of it. Now, supposing you're an alcoholic or you're a tea drinker and this comes in your mind or somebody tells you, कि नहीं नहीं बहुत बुरी बात है, छोड़ दो. So what you will do is tomorrow you will not drink, because that guilt is killing you. But day after you will drink double because, you want to quench that thirst of either it alcohol or whatever you call it. So it can't, no matter how hard you try, how much effort you do, to get rid of certain vices that you have, but unless माँ की कृपा ना हो, तो वो होता नहीं है. Only माँ can do that. We can't do it ourselves because we are too weak. Bell, okay? घंटी बजी घर में. So I'm sorry about that. That was a loud ring. But that's the way it is. So I hope I have answered your question and you're very lucky. Let me tell you that. Jai Ma, I'll see you next time.